We got an exciting show planned today. This is actually Boy Green Meets Wudi history. We're about to watch along. So come with us. We are about to watch the New York Jets head coach Aaron Glenn live talk to the people, and then we could all talk about it together. All right. So we're going to watch together. We're going to talk about it together. We are one big happy family. Right after the intro, it's Boy Green Meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a Jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! There you go, Wudi!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. I'll actually drop the usual shtick, not stick, because we are in a live situation. It's time sensitive. Aaron Glenn is speaking to the public 3 p.m. Eastern, the exact same time of this show. So instead of delaying the show or doing something like that, we are actually all going to watch together and then talk together about it. Mr. Paulson Jr., how you doing?
I'm doing great, Wudi. I just noticed something in the intro I've never seen before. When I went to go, hey, let's get everyone for a JTS chant, and everyone goes, oh, okay. You do the NWO and give me a little Dragon Ball Z fusion, ha! And I had never noticed it until just now as I was watching it. I was like, look, there he was. Wudi.
Hey.
So, you watch something new every time you observe it. So, yes, this is history in the making. I've only done this in any of my shows one time before in history, and it was great at the time, but now looking back at it, less so. Aaron Rodgers announcing on the Pat McAfee show that he intended to play for the New York Jets. My boss at Heavy had no idea what he was going to announce, but said, hey, this could be big. Let's get you and Pat McAfee on at the same time. But you just try to be quiet and we'll hear the Pat McAfee thing. And then when it happens, you guys do a live reaction. So, okay, sounds good to me. And I did it. And it was this historical moment I'll have for the rest of my life, which is cool. Wish it would have ended better, but that's neither here nor there. So, yes, I don't anticipate, hopefully, any of those kind of waves happening for whatever Aaron Glenn says. Hopefully it's not that serious. But, yes, we'll listen to Aaron Glenn and Wudi. It's hard to believe we're already here. Preseason finale week. We got a Friday night game, and then it's over for the Jets. And the next game they play is at MetLife Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is crazy to say out loud. So I'm looking forward to it. There should be some fascinating things to hear from AG. Justin Fields apparently was throwing bombs, as Johnny Boy says in the comment section. It was great to see some Garrett Wilson action, finally, apparently. And then also Sauce looked like he got banged up. So hopefully that's not serious either. So, a couple of things coming in. So we'll hear from AG here shortly.
Definitely. What a time to be alive. Like you said, season starting up. Our head coach, every single time he speaks, we get information, which is something that was not happening for the last 4 years. I'm never one to just throw stones at my guy, Robert Saleh. I'm wishing him the best in San Fran. But just speaking truthfully, he almost never spoke truthfully. He was out here talking in riddles, where AG, it's just straight to the point, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
All right, before we get there, Badshaw's asking on the Take Flight Talk channel, Wudi, did you get a haircut?
Nah, come on, Badshaw. You already know, hair up, square up type deal. So I got a little, just the smallest little ponytail.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
In the back. Just I was out here. I was doing a lot of things for the kids.
Okay.
Downstairs, making them some food. I don't got no hairnet. Just put it. Say so. Gotta do what we gotta do.
By the way, it reminds me, I don't know if you've ever heard this, reference before in reference to you, but it reminds me of, what was that, Mel Gibson in The Patriot? You had the little ponytail back there?
Yeah.
Wudi, you're a Mel Gibson. Yeah, hey now.
Yes. Tremendous movie.
There you go.
I wish I was, That's a compliment if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I would say for sure. There's no way. There's no other way about it. Let's throw a couple of these comments up. And again, at any moment, AG is going to go live. I have everything all set up. So as soon as he does, this is what's going to happen. AG is going to fly up on the screen. We'll full screen it. And you'll see our reactions to it as we're doing it. But we will not talk. We're not going to be battling with AG at the podium. We'll allow AG to say what he wants. We'll take some notes, and you guys can react in the comment section. And then as soon as that press conference ends, which should be starting any second here, we will immediately be responding and reacting to it. Injury news, preseason. Is he going to announce whether or not his starters are going to play against the Eagles? All kinds of news and nuggets could be coming out here. We do have 200 people in the room, so quick reminder to like the video and hit subscribe. That's just on my side. We're streaming live to 5 different destinations: my YouTube, my Twitter, my Instagram, and the James Wudi on Instagram, and Take Flight Talk on YouTube. So make sure you guys show your support for that. I'll tell you this real quick as we're waiting for AG here, Wudi. I am starting to get the final pieces to the puzzle for the tailgate. So my fiance bought all the tearaway bracelets you guys will get. If you're on the tailgate list for food, you guys will get a bracelet. So you'll check with me as soon as you get to the tailgate. Hey, Boy Green, meet me, all that jazz. And I'll check you off a list, give you a tearaway bracelet, and then you'll be good for food and drink for the entire event. So that'll be really cool. We'll have it super organized. Got a clipboard, a special clipboard that's going to hold all the bracelets in. You got to think of every layer, every step here. And shout out to my fiance who thought of all that stuff. So yeah, we're getting the final pieces here, and I'm just, I'm Santa Claus. I'm checking the list, checking it twice. I'm finding out who's going to be naughty or nice at this tailgate, Wudi. So I got to be buckled up.
Buckle up, baby. We yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good time. Definitely can't wait. I got some things that I gotta check off of the list. Right. So yeah, we gonna get it. Shout out to Johnny Boy in the comments. He was saying some thoughts on Johnny Boy getting a crappy pick in the fantasy football league. Damn. What pick was it?
So yeah, let's get your thoughts on this, Wudi. So we have 2 Boy Green leagues. They were just created this year, Discord Fantasy Football League. So we'll have to get you on the Discord eventually for Boy Green Coffee Club members. And so there's 12 people in each league, and we did draft order reveals last night. So I had a hat with all the team names in it, and whoever my co-host was, which was Badshaw on one show and Pop on the other, they randomly picked it at number 7. And I'm like, Wudi, or whatever. And that's how we synced them all up, and that was all the picks. So Johnny Boy randomly got whatever pick he does. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But apparently he was not satisfied with that pick. But it allows people to do some mock drafting. Are you a big mock drafter in fantasy football land, Wudi?
It's so funny you say that. My best friend is addicted to mock drafts. Like he does like 10 a day.
Wow. Okay.
And we were talking about league, and he was like, "Oh, you can't, this person's not going to be available because I got a draft coming up where I got the 9th pick," and he was talking about, "Oh, that person, no, come on, I've done 10 mocks today." And, in 9 of the 10 mocks, he wasn't there. I like mock drafting to get a sense of what round people are going, but to hold it so religiously where, like, in your head, there's no way somebody is available at 9 or something that happens. I think that's overboard. That's extreme. Computers make picks. And then, if you're mocking, like, so, random people make picks, but just like in almost anything, you're playing your opponents. Like the actual draft, when you do your actual draft, those are the people that have those ideas. The computer thinking that Jahmyr Gibbs is going off, that doesn't mean that this person that you're drafting thinks the same thing. He might be team Kyron Williams. So, mocking, it's cool. It's nice to get that idea, but I definitely think that there are too many people that hold way too much like faith in the actual results of the mock.
That's very fair. What I try to do is how I get through the process is I don't do 10 a day. So your friend beat me. If this was a contest, he won, I guess. But I try to get a feeling, okay, every time I do a mock draft, these 5 to 7 players are there in some order or fashion. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 8, whatever the number is. But I'm like, cool. So I feel pretty comfortable. One of these pools of players are always available when I pick. So I sort of have a general idea when I go through. Because to your point, I do a live fantasy draft, and that one is in 10 days from today at like a restaurant, and we do a whole thing. You have no idea what the hell is going to happen in those ones. Like, we're going through it, all of a sudden, this guy goes top 3, and you're like, what the F? I thought he was going to the second round. And now all of a sudden people start scrambling. Shit starts hitting the fan, and people start freaking out like, oh, wait, this means there's a running back run here. Wait, there's a wide receiver run. And then people start getting crazy. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. I did 1,000 mock drafts, and none of them had this happening. So that's where you can get a little crazy. But good luck, Johnny boy, with whatever pick you happen to have. All right, breaking news here. We've got AG. So, Wudi, let's go right to him. All right, AG is going to start any second here, and me and Wudi will remain on mute, and we will react to this together. This is AG Live coming at us here, folks.
All right. Good afternoon. Good long practice today for our guys. Coming off the game against the Giants. Worked on a number of situations, and there are some situations where the coordinators didn't know what I was looking to do, and actually threw some situations with them. Red zone, a situation where we call hurricane. I think it was 3rd and 15 on the 37, and quarterback just needs to know, man, I don't need 15. Just get me in the position. This is the end of half also. Just get me in the position where I can kick a better field goal. And we did that, with the
All right, sorry, folks. We're having some technical difficulties there on Coach, so I don't want that to kind of keep cutting in and out. You guys are going to miss the answers. So we'll continue to react to it live, but we'll just rely on the beat reporters here, Wudi, to send those clips in. So sorry for the technical difficulties, folks, but we will live react to those AG comments coming in.
Definitely. Hey, come on now. The frontier we talking about. Frontier connection. I don't know. Maybe it's something the Jets are doing. They don't want us. They don't want you guys to watch anywhere else but their channel. So they blocking us or something like that.
That could be it.
The Illuminati's after us. But yes. Now we tried. I was very excited. But we like Boy Green just said, we still gonna get some nuggets that we'll be able to react to.
Yes.
But apparently it was a good practice today.
Yes, it certainly was. Okay, so we have this update, okay, and this is how we will do it here on the show because of, unfortunately, the Wi-Fi signal going on, Wudi, is we'll keep dropping in updates from what Aaron Glenn is saying via the beat reporters, and this is already a hint of what's going to come, Wudi, so without further ado... Obviously, we have one last preseason game to go here, Woodster, and that includes the Jets-Eagles game, which will come to its conclusion. So let's throw this one up on the big screen. From Brian Costello, Aaron Glenn said not all the starters will play Friday versus the Eagles, which sort of indicates that some will. What do you make of this decision? And we'll see if we get some more clarity on this in just a moment.
I wasn't expecting the starters to play, so this is... To me, this is a positive because I wasn't expecting them to play. Usually, this last game is about the guys at the other side of the spectrum trying to see which ones are actually going to make the team. So for him to say this, take some time out of that game to play some starters, I think that's good. I think what that tells me is that he saw some things last week that he ain't like, and now, hey, we're going to have to go back and retry some things. Now, I know the big elephant in the room is Justin Fields one of those starters that will play? I guess that remains to be seen. I don't think he needs to. I think the reaction to this Giants game was so poor that if if you're worried about his mentals and stuff like that, fine, sit him out, all that type of stuff. Now, if he's, mentally tough and AG, is like, hey, come on now, we can't be doing what we did last week. And, he's one of the starters to play. Then you probably want him to also play with, other starters. So the fact that it says not all the starters, I'm going to guess Fields is not one of them, but I like seeing that, some players will play from the starting lineup this Friday.
Well, we've got beat reporter wars, Wudi. Ryan Costello of the New York Post and Aaron Glenn said not all the starters will play Friday versus Eagles. You're like, okay, so that means some will. Zach Rosenblatt said Jet starters will not play against the Eagles, according to Aaron Glenn. So now we're getting different. We're playing phone game here from what AG is saying. Unfortunately, we can't confirm that ourselves, so we'll keep you posted here. This seems to indicate none of the starters will play. But I would say this, regardless of what the truth is, and hopefully we get that here momentarily, is that I didn't anticipate any of the starters playing. If you go across the league, and I'll be able to do a good temperature check, because what else are we going to be doing this weekend, for Pete's sake? What, hanging out with our families, for God's sakes? So I will look around and see if any starters are playing across any of them, but normally not. This is the hard knocks game for people. This is roster bubble players and, find a roster bubble, practice squad sort of stuff. That's the sort of stuff that's getting figured out right now. So it appears that the starters will not play, but like I said, we'll try to get that official news coming up there as well here momentarily. But, I don't mind. It is what it is. I'm glad they got the work that they did in the first two preseason games, and I think those are the ones that are most important. It sounds like, hearing from a few Eagles people, the Eagles starters were not expected to play. So let's be honest. Let's say Justin Fields goes out there for a drive, and they look amazing against the Eagles' second and third strings. If he looks amazing, he should have. If he looks bad, then he just gets harshly judged. So I think it would have been, quite frankly, a lose-lose if Justin Fields and the starters played, because if they were awesome, they should have been. If they were terrible, look, they suck.
Well, I don't think that's more in the court of public opinion, which they shouldn't care about. And I'm very confident in thinking that AG does not care about. That's all that public opinion. I think there is value in going out there and competing, even if it's the Eagles' second string. We have not seen in this preseason at any point Justin Fields complete a pass that wasn't 5 yards in front of him. Like I would love to see just a completion, outside the numbers, something like that, just to get the confidence up. If like I said, the fans from sitting at home can be, they're supposed to do that. But the players being out there and actually doing it, like that's, you see it in sports so many times, slumps in whatever sport you want, baseball, basketball, all it takes is seeing that one go in the basket or getting that one hit can break somebody out. So in this situation where, he literally has not completed, outside, let's just see one, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side. Let's see one, and that could get him going for the regular season.
Massive news. And this one is a big woo on injuries. Rich Cimini of ESPN, a good day injury-wise for the Jets. Sauce Gardner returned to practice. Jermaine Johnson returned to practice. Quinnen Williams returned to practice. And Gardner, who seemingly got hurt in this practice today, and people are like, oh boy, people are rubbing his calf on the sideline, medical people. Gardner, who had been doing a calf soreness, just got kicked in the leg. So first off, who is stepping on toes and roundhouse kicking our number one corner needs to be thrown out immediately. But Aaron Glenn says, quote, he will be fine. Oh, thank God. It's great to see, by the way, Wudi, because there's today's training camp practice that obviously is over. AG speaks after practice, and the training camp practice tomorrow. And those are the last two public training camp practices for training camp. The rest of them are all private, normal operating procedure for NFL teams heading into the season. It is such a massive relief to finally see Jermaine Johnson on field coming off the PUP list, and Quinn, who got hurt very early in camp with the calf, returned to practice, and obviously Sauce. So the defense getting some massive reinforcements today. That's great to see him back on the field.
1,000%. I mean, these are three of our top, 8 best players on the team.
Mhm.
So to see them practice, that's a beautiful thing. You know how I felt about Quinnen, his situation, and what could be behind door number 3. So hopefully, this rest, everything that they did in that meantime, has completely closed that door. We don't have to worry about that moving forward.
So that is just massive news for the New York Jets, which is, again, great with the side of great. So awesome news here. The only one I'll be curious to see is what's going on with Will McDonald. I've not seen that yet. He had back spasms earlier in camp. That's weird. And then he had the knee issue, which held him out of this previous Giants game. We were like, I didn't hear about that knee thing. So that's one injury I would like to hear. And again, we're hearing from we're hearing obviously from screenshots, so we're not hearing the full presser. I will recap the full presser after our show today. But as J-Boy says, the captain is back, baby. And let me ask you about that, because this was an interesting thought. I can't remember which show was on. Actually, I think it was on our live show last night, just doing the draft order review. I think J-Boy brought it up, as a matter of fact, which said the captain is back. All of our captains, Wudi, got hit by a bus last year. Aaron Rodgers, gone. Thomas Morstead, gone. You go through CJ Mosley, gone. Who do you think are the captains this year? To give you a quick little predictive thing here, who is going to represent? Is it going to be some of the players on the screen? Is it a Garrett Wilson? Does he suddenly rise to the occasion now, despite his age? Does he become one of those guys based on the money? Justin Fields, I assume, is in that conversation. Like, who are the captains you think for the Jets this year? Because all the ones from last year are basically all gone.
That is a really interesting question. I would imagine that Justin Fields, that's a classic. Zach Wilson was cat. So come on now, Justin Fields. Quinnen should. He's earned the right. With his tenure with the team, his production with the team. Quinnen should be there. Like you said, CJ Mosley has been the captain for a long time. I don't know if just through that transitive property, it goes to Quincy or something like that. But also Sauce. I feel like Sauce is another one, like you just said about the contract, you were referring to Garrett, but I would say for Sauce, 2-time All-Pro, extended for the next 6 years. Sauce would probably be at the top. Sauce and Quinnen would be at the top of my list for who should be the captains of this team.
I love that. By the way, quick clarity here. This is random, super inside baseball here, but Badger says J-Boy's holding down both Coffee Club leagues. I made a terrible mistake. J-Boy's actually only in one of the leagues, not in both, so I made a big mistake because I'm an idiot. Apparently, multiple people are called Justin in our fantasy league, so multiple Justins. Just a quick aside there. He's not in both leagues. I'm an idiot. So just want to share that out to the universe. But great news there from an injury perspective. Sounds like the starters are not going to play, but again, we will give you guys an update if there is a alternative message here. Okay, so here we go. We've got full clarity, right, Wudi? We had some beat reporters saying this, some beat reporters saying this. We have it here from the coach. I'll let you guys hear this comment. I'll play the clip straight from AG's mouth. So you know what, Wudi? We're not going to have any more interpretation problems happening here. We're going to hear straight from the head coach, straight from the horse's mouth, and we'll hear what he has to say about the starters playing or not playing in this game, which, like I said, I think is interesting based on everything we've seen. So let's play this clip. This is from AG. Again, we won't go to the live show shot. We tried that. That did not work. So instead, we will just play this quick video spot here from head coach Aaron Glenn coming up here on the starters. Again, Jets-Eagles play on Friday night. Are the starters going to play? Are the starters not going to play? Well, according to AG, it's going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Coach?
Some starters won't play in this game. I won't get into the who's or whatnot, but a good amount of starters won't play. It gives us a chance to look at some of our other young guys and give them plenty of playing time so we can evaluate them. Obviously,
so it's good to hear these words, Wudi, because sometimes it doesn't get interpreted by the beat reporters. A good amount of starters won't play.
Was that the full clip?
Yes. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. They cut him off mid-sentence. So
right. So that's straight from the Jets. So I don't know where else they went with that. So that's unfortunate. That is the full clip the Jets posted. So I'll have to hear more of it later. But I will tell you that, you're sort of implication when he says some starters earlier and your interpretation of that versus what we're ultimately getting here. I would imagine if some of them aren't playing like an offensive line or something, you wouldn't subject Justin Fields, unless you're Mark Sanchez, of course, and it's that Snoopy Bowl where Rex Ryan threw him out there for no reason and he got hurt behind a shoddy offensive line. You're obviously not doing that to Justin Fields. So I would imagine he's probably part of the key elements that aren't playing, which then takes me to, let's guess this, Woody. If only some starters are playing, which starters are playing? Because it wouldn't be Garrett. It wouldn't be Justin. It wouldn't be the offensive line, I would assume. Now, with potentially with how I'm interpreting it, I'd imagine not him. Who would be the starters that would play and would benefit in some way in your mind?
Well, back when I heard it, I wouldn't say my interpretation of what he said changed. So, I do think it's possible Justin Fields would play. Maybe with lesser weapon like Garrett, I would bet money Garrett Wilson is not playing. Okay. But maybe you throw him out there with Arian Smith and some of those guys, because then he specifically said we're going to throw out these young guys and get them playing. So I feel like let's look at some young guys. Braylon Allen is young. I would consider him a starter. Definitely. The whole fan base wants him to be RB1, so I would consider him. Even RB1, RB2 don't matter. They're starters to me. So I would expect Braylon Allen to play. I would expect, some of the defensive linemen, right, to play. Is Jermaine going to play? Probably not. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. But then of course the secondary is young, like the corner, not the corner, the safeties are young. Cisco, who seems to consistently be getting burned. I don't know what's going on with my guy. Tony Adams, Malachi Moore, those guys, as they're battling, because that's what they're trying to do, right? We have some position battles that they're trying to figure out. And in that realm, is there a battle for center? I know all summer you've been saying no. Who knows if they feel the same way. So I think you could see some linemen out there. I mean, what we've already seen for a fact is that the line can play what, they don't need, the projected top 5 out there on the field to have good protection. They have been having good protection pretty much all game. The first 2 games. So you can put in combinations on the offensive line and feel confident that, your extremely mobile QB will be all right. So, I know it was a super long-winded answer, but I guess to shorten it up, I think Fields is in play. Braylon Allen, I'm definitely expecting to see my guy. And then the safeties as well.
All right, let's go to this. This was Aaron Glenn's reaction to Jermaine Johnson and Quinton Williams returning to practice today.
So, like I said, whoa. I mean, 11's out there, and he's rushing the pass, and he runs right by me. It was like just wind, like woof, like just goes by me. So, and then you see 95, and it felt good. I would just say that. It felt really good.
Jermaine Johnson on a pass rush rep. He just felt the wind going past him. Okay, that's good. He's moving like the wind. Okay, I love seeing AG crack a smile. I love AG going about damn time for my defense, getting some much needed reinforcements. There was some fun stuff there from AG there, Woodster.
I think we all, as a fan base, love Jermaine so much. So I think we all are so excited to see him back out there on the field. Not sure if I've ever, said another man's wind, felt good to breeze on me. But, I'm happy that AG is feeling good and giving, showing love, showing respect to our guy. So there's nothing but positivity to take from that. And I personally cannot wait to see him play this season.
Yeah, again, because it's just so hard. Like the doctors and gods and football people say, come on, man, be realistic with Jermaine. Your expectation should be this. And then I see Jermaine and I see the workout videos. And my expectations are here. So it's hard to figure out what exactly it is. So I guess the only true answer, Woody, is just have an open mind and watch what happens week 1 against the Steelers. And if Jermaine, like on the first play, beats Broderick Jones, like beats him with a rusty wrench and immediately sacks Aaron Rodgers, we're going to lose our minds, man. It's going to be insane. So, I have no other choice. I have to be all fired up, revved up, and Jermaine certainly does that. AG's message, apparently, chopping wood is how he described it.
A good situation all guys were dialed into. So, and then I thought it was a good, hard, long practice for these guys. Some of the things we did were live, short yards and goal line, was live, and our guys got after it at that time, and other times we just studied. So I thought it was pretty good practice. A lot of things we got to continue to work on. Looking forward to tomorrow's practice. It's going to be a different type of deal tomorrow. Man, we keeping chopping wood. That's it. We got to keep chopping wood and keep getting better.
Keep chopping wood, Wudi. Keep chopping wood.
Yeah, always metaphors, in the coaching world, and that's a solid one. Right? We're going to keep chopping, just swing that axe, and that tree's going to fall down. We'll see when it falls. I know a lot of you are expecting it to fall this year. We'll see, but keep chopping. We're gonna chop, and I like it. I mean, AG, from my vantage point, from a coach, he's a coach. Right? From a coaching perspective, I feel like there's not too much you can say in terms of a criticism. He seems to be all about it. Fired up, loves this game, loves this team, and is trying to bring the best out of these guys as a former guy, who's done it at a high level.
Okay, so AG was like, it felt good. It felt real good. Seeing all the injured guys come back. You want to know what else felt good, Wudi? This fire being rekindled. I don't know what the math equation is on JF7E equals MCG5 squared, but I'll tell you this, Wudi, I was very happy about it too, because just not seeing it in the preseason. I think you had an Instagram post out as a collaborator on this being the first preseason of no Garrett Wilson catch. Did I see that correctly, Wudi?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the collaborator. I built that myself.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So I've been saying it, and that's when you consider the QBs, Garrett's first preseason, he played with Mike White. Mike White on his fourth pass attempt of the game had a nice completion to Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson came in within, 4 throws for Zach. He had a completion to Garrett. The following year, we're talking Aaron Rodgers, and first throw, Aaron Rodgers did. He looked at Garrett, 25-yard gain. And these guys who everyone's been hyping up, college chemistry, they about to, be back like they never left. We had 3 drives, 4 targets, 0 catches. So I mean that I think obviously the season hasn't even begun. So to say something as a matter of fact would be premature. But I think it is very interesting that Mike White was able to do it. Zach Wilson was able to do it. Aaron Rodgers obviously did it with ease. And the college buddies, the college boys, they best friends. They finish each other's sentences. Can't even complete a pass in an NFL game. So,
Wudi, when did you say your first fantasy draft is?
I had one actually. Can you believe it?
That's pretty crazy.
But
I mean, I guess it's not that crazy. I got my first fantasy draft coming up this weekend, so it's that time of year.
You're supposed to wait till after preseason. That's
normally, but you're un-American apparently, so that's fine. You can't wait for Christmas like the rest of us. But so this is a good question for that league and the leagues to come, whatever other leagues you're in. Did you or will you hesitate when you're on the clock and Garrett Wilson's sitting there on the board? Will you think twice, or is it just a click, click, and whoa, That person was just drafted to your team. So you tell me, Woody, did you hesitate or will you when that situation inevitably presents itself at some point?
Shout out to the Jet Set podcast because I was on there last night and we talked about this exact thing because I talked about my team.
Okay.
And Garrett, I had a late, or I had the 9th pick, so ninth, and then I went to the second round.
How many
Third
teams
round,
were in that league?
12.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
Third round, Garrett Wilson's there. I was like, I need more reliability. So, my guy, I can't believe he was there. This is also crazy too, though, that he was there. ESPN hasn't ranked him so low. Kyron Williams. That's what I went with. Who, like, to me, I feel like he's like a top 6 back. But ESPN had him ranked in the 30s. But yeah, Garrett, as I said this, I did say it in May, June when the hype train, y'all was doing the hype train. I said, I don't know. And you guys kept talking about DJ Moore, who, it's inarguable, right? DJ Moore had, I want to say 1,300 yards, something like that.
Yeah, he did. Yep. And, career year. Yep.
Yeah, Fields was a QB for most of the season.
Yep.
So yeah, but what is it that you say? Do you say every blind squirrel finds a nut? Do you say that?
I've mentioned that on the show before. I have.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Is somebody blind or is it? I don't know. But what I do know is that in preseason, and we talking about the execution.
Yeah,
we have seen QBs execute.
Okay.
Right? We've seen them, find their guy. I have not seen him find his guy. So for Garrett Wilson, yeah, I don't know if I'm trusting him with a 3rd round. If he was there in the 4th, I probably would have taken him. But the 3rd, nah, I can't.
You did, and you will continue to hesitate when Garrett Wilson is among the best players available, supposedly at your spot.
I mean, I can't get a top 3. I can't use a top 3 on Garrett.
Yeah. You will not select Garrett within the first 3 rounds. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
I'm just checking. All right, we're getting.
I would draft Fields though. I would draft Fields in like the 10th, right?
I wonder if he's there. Yeah. He's
there, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah,
he's going to get selected. I again, in fairness, you've done a draft and I haven't.
I'm telling you from my draft.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm admitting that I've done no fantasy drafts yet, only mock drafts. I expect Fields to go somewhere in the late 8th to like 12th round. That's a big range. Because it just depends. Like if you have a lot of Jet fans in your league, crazy shit can happen. But like I think that's somewhere in that range because some people we've have a few fantasy experts in our live draft, and they tell me if there's someone they like and they see where his ADP is, they will be aggressive in front of the ADP to make sure they get their guy, and it's not close. So that could be a round or two that they're willing to do it to ensure that they get their guy if they believe. So if someone feels that way about Fields, he could certainly be there. So I'm seeing everyone, by the way, in the comment section sharing Jets players they've either drafted or plan on drafting in fantasy. That's cool. We'll review those in a second. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 8 to 12, maybe even closer, 8 to 10, something like that.
Well, I mean, if you're playing in the league with Indy, like Indy Jets, like he probably gonna pick Fields in like the 4th round. But just normal people like that, compete and are good at fantasy football.
Oh wow.
I can't be doing that. But Fields is one that I would look at. Okay. I know this sounds crazy, especially since like no one else is really gonna draft him. So you could literally just like either like pick him up in the waiver wire or like the last round. Which is what I did was Mason Taylor. Like I think Mason Taylor is really gonna surprise people on how consistently productive he is. But Brees, my guy Brees, you know how much I love Brees. Everyone who's ever watched this show, even one time, I've definitely mentioned my love for him. I can't draft him. Can't draft him. What are you talking about? Braylon's out here doing so much work.
Wait a second. Wudi, I use this. If one person's watched the show before, they know you're Brees all man love. If someone's watched the show once, they've inevitably heard my $1 million man impression. Everybody's got a press. And it's true. There is not a single player in the league that's off my draft board. everybody's got a price. I say, right, like I go Brees Hall, no way I'm taking him. And all of a sudden, the 4th, 5th, or whatever the round is, I won't reveal those details, but whatever the round is, I go, all right, well, I wasn't going to take it, but now I will select, or whoever that player is. That totally, everybody's got a price.
I mean, yeah, that's a fact, but like that, but I don't think he's gonna fall like that far. Like that's what I'm saying. Like where he's at, like his ADP, those first 3 rounds. Like I wouldn't draft Garrett the first 3 rounds. I would not draft Brees the first 3 rounds, and that's where they're going.
Where's the earliest you would draft Brees?
First pick of round 4.
Okay, all right. So unbelievable, absolutely not at 3-12. 4-1? Sure, I'm in.
Yeah, well, actually, so if I have the last pick, right, like then I guess, yeah, right, I would have to draft whoever it is, 3-12, and then 4-1.
That would be hilarious. So if you were in that moment and you say to yourself, you have both picks. I refuse. I just won't do it. 3-12. Oh, 4-1? Oh, I'm back to back? Yeah, Brees, please.
Yeah.
Check, please. Okay, that'd be hilarious. So, but I would say people are asking in the chat, sure, if you want to get some kicker love, Nick Folk, if you don't believe in the Jets offense, but you can only believe in their ability to move between the 20s, then Nick Folk should be eaten like Greg Zuerlein a couple years ago when he was 35 and 38. Nick Folk might be a sneaky kicker option. He led the league in field goal percentage the last 2 years. So we're talking about all the normal guys. And you mentioned Mason Taylor's a late round flyer. I think Nick Folk, man, might be a sneaky guy.
I 100% agree. That's definitely one. I mean, we've had kicking opportunities, like you just said, a whole bunch the last few years, and I think that's going to continue. Like if you look at that Giants drive, that was a long drive that eventually stalled out. And this is not even me being negative. I'm just saying I feel like a lot of drives I feel like will go that way, especially if it is like 3rd and like 5 or more, even though obviously you saw the conversion on 3rd and 8. But I'm saying like, because when it's 4th and 1, like I feel like AG's going for it every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? 4th and 1, 4th and 2. So you're gonna lose some in those scenarios. But as long as it's like 4th and 5, 4th and 4, and larger than that, Nick Folk's out there, and like we all said, highest percentage in the league last couple seasons. Let's get it.
All right. Wow. 400 plus people in the room. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our live reaction to the Jets Aaron Glenn press conference. Now, in all honesty, the Jets obviously should have checked with us. Are you guys doing Boy Grim meets Wudi today? Oh, we'll reschedule AG. They did not. I don't know what's going on there. So they did it, and we were able to play some of the clips from the AG presser and some of the screenshots. Thank you to the beat reporters, respectively, for reporting on a lot of these as well. A fun show. And Wudi, we're essentially, today's Tuesday. Thursday is basically going to be a pregame show because the next day the Jets-Eagles play. So I imagine we won't be getting into the X's and O's of Tanner McGee and, Brady Cook. But I think there's a lot of things to talk about there as we obviously get ready for 53-man roster cutdowns. We'll end with that, Wudi, unless you have anything else, is the roster stuff that's coming up here. I retweeted it from Spot Track earlier today, so I'll put this up on the screen as a screen. Here it is. These upcoming big NFL dates. I'm going to put this up on my screen here. This is from our friends over at Spot Track. So thank you very much. I hit that with a repost because I think that's really important for people to remember what's up. What's up? Sorry, I had to get a little R-Truth in there. So here it is. These are the important NFL dates. So August 20. So today's the 19th. In a week, the rosters go from 90 to 53. That is the deadline. So they have to do it by 4 o'clock a week from today, by Tuesday. So what an interesting Boy Green meets Wudi that's going to be, Wudi. On Tuesday, you're getting extra use out of those scissors because by the end of our show, all of the cuts have to be in. So in 3 o'clock, you're going to get overdrive. You better have an extra backup pair of scissors just in case the durability of the first pair of scissors comes into question because you're going to be giving a little chip. Yeah, just the tip. Cut. Rock, paper, scissors. You're going to be getting a lot of that action in. So that'll be happening a week from today. Final cut claims due at noon and talk about the activity, right? So think about that. 4 o'clock Tuesday, all the players got to get cut. Then over the next, whatever the math is on that, the next
18 hours.
whatever is gonna, and then all of a sudden that's the waiver claims of everyone cutting their people, and you as a team combing through all of those, say, ooh, this guy, and claiming those guys. And if you claim anybody, you got to cut somebody else. So the activity is going to be insane. And then on that same day, the 17-man practice squad is established. I believe it's a 16-man, so I think that's a typo by Spock Trek at 16. For the Jets, it'll be 17 because they have a roster exemption. If Leonda Vegan makes it, that'll be a 17-man. And then the final day of preseason, which wraps up for everybody else and everything else, the just activity of preseason wraps up then. And then we're off to the races, Wudi. So a lot of activity happening here in the next 8-9 days here.
Absolutely. I didn't even, put 2 and 2 together that next week we would be, having that huge cut down. So super, I don't want to say excited because, for some people,
Right.
their NFL dream is ending or, it's a different part of the journey. But I am, I want to see the team. I want to see who they, felt like deserved a spot, who earned a spot, I just mentioned, the door closing for some, but for others, it's like a door opening,
Sure.
if, someone like Quentin Skinner makes his team, like that's a huge, I know a lot of, he has a lot of fans that he earned through this preseason. So I am excited to see how the roster shapes up and how
No question about it. Wudi, any final thoughts before we wrap up the program?
Yeah. I wanted to answer. I know, fantasy. I could talk fantasy all day, but I had 2 specific questions. One was from my guy Dano on Take Flight Talk. He said, "When's the earliest I would take Braylon?" And this is a interesting question. I know he specifically loves Braylon, wanted him to be RB1 last year. Has been kicking Brees out the door since last season. I do think there's 2 things. I think he is going to be explosive. And I think he is the goal line back, first and goal from the 3, from the 2. So I think he actually is a nice candidate to get like 10 touchdowns this season. But to have the production of like a every week starting running back, that's tough. I feel like Braylon sounds like a flex to me, which means that I'm taking him like seventh round. Around there, I need to secure my wide receivers, my running backs, my starters, people who every week in, week out, I know they can produce. Before getting someone like Braylon, who 1 week can get 12 carries for 45 yards, which wouldn't really be too much, value in fantasy, and then the next week he can get 12 carries, 45 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which would be great in fantasy. What do you think, Boy Green?
Yeah, I have Fantasy Pros. There's someone I use often to sort of get a temperature check on ADPs. They seem to be a lot lower, both consensus and then they have the specific leagues. Consensus is Braylon Allen's ADP is 147 overall. So just do your math on that. Like that's basically non-existent is how late he's going. So, again, it also depends on your league. Obviously, Jets people are going to be more informed on a Braylon Allen than most normal people, so that could factor in as well. But, yeah, his overall consensus ADP and standard scoring is 147. In PPR, it's a little bit less, which I think is a mistake because I think he is adept as a passer. They have him at 153 consensus in PPR scoring. I think that's wrong. I think people just stereotype, big brutish guy. He just runs between the tackles. I think he brings more than that. So, I would definitely. You're probably too rich, but 147, 150 is way too late. So I don't know. We're probably hovering in the 10, 11 range. But again, sometimes I mentioned it with the fantasy experts in my league. Sometimes you got to be aggressive if you want to get your guy in ADP and also know who's in your league. That's another part of a pre-draft process, Woody, I don't think we talk about is who are the people in your league. Oh, I got a Cowboys fan here. I got a Falcons fan here. Those sorts of things can also affect your drafting of how you're picking players too. And only you and no fantasy magazine, no book, no TV show is ever going to tell you that. It's up to you and the leagues that you're in.
1,000%. That I tried to, I guess I didn't do a good enough job explaining, but that's what I was trying to explain with why, doing 10 mocks a day is pointless, because when you get up to the actual draft, that stuff matters for sure. So,
and what was your other question? What do you wanted to get to?
It was Mr. Badshaw. He said, "Did anyone get in my draft that just took place? Did anyone draft the Jaguars kicker?"
Cam Little, yes.
And I thought about it because 70 yards is no joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be crazy to get that type of production from your kicker. If he gets like a 70 and like a 60, like it's crazy. It's crazy. So, I did think about it. I was shocked that no one else took him. He was ranked mad low. Like you would have to scroll down to get him, which is what I did. But then in the end, they just took Nick Folk the one before because I was like, everything that we just said, I wanted Nick Folk, but they took Nick Folk before me. So I ended up getting Chris Boswell on the Steelers.
All right, he should be kicking a lot of field goals in the Jets Steelers game, obviously.
We'll see. I know. I was gonna get a reaction like that, but last year, bro was literally winning them the games sometimes with kicks alone. So, he was fantastic last season.
Okay, there you go. I love a good fantasy kicker question. So thank you, Badshaw, for squeezing that in here on Boy Green Meets Woody. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we have 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe if you're on YouTube. We're streaming live on my YouTube, at BoyGreen25, but also James Woody's YouTube, which is Take Flight Talk. All kinds of wonderful New York Jets coverage. And again, an announcement to come on the Woody 3 returning in a new way this season. We'll have more details on that coming up in the near future. Again, we don't, Woody's above that. Okay. He doesn't do that for preseason games. That's for losers. He saves it for the regular season. So, Woody 3 could be coming here in the very near future. The regular season's right around the corner. So can't wait for that. There's going to be some great cross promotion, of course, between me and Woody, which I can't wait for some game day shout outs there. That's going to be awesome. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Woody, closes out.
Hey, so much appreciation for everyone watching with us. I know the connection wasn't what we thought it was going to be, but we still got the quotes. We still got the clips. We still got the action. And just so much appreciation for this guy right here, the boy who became king, Mr. Paul Esden Jr. And we will be talking with you a lot more this week. So everybody have a great rest of your day.